Alrighty, yes. If you could not tell by the beautiful introduction, by beautiful I mean awful, it's gonna be May, and you know what that means? That means it's time for another one of the hometown favorites monthly Angels review. Oh, sweet Mary Magdalene. I feel like I start every month up with that. But like I said, it's gonna be May. It's gonna be pain. It's. Oh, sweet Jesus. Now, look, I know, a few years ago, if you were playing against the Tigers, you'd say, hey, it's a guaranteed win, it could be a sweep. But the Tigers have done something that the Angels can't, and that is absolutely turn things around. Well, for one thing, how are you letting Javi Baez get on base, let alone hit home runs? I don't know how he's doing now at the end of the month because I don't care about other teams, but you're letting Javi Baez, who was an absolute joke for several years, absolutely pop off. You're letting him get hot, and because of that, he's becoming a good player again. There have been a lot of problems with Joe Adell during the series, and I mean, dude, when Joe Adell started to suck, I was going absolutely ballistic because Mickey Moniak started raking around the time that we played the Tigers. So you can imagine how I feel when Joe Adell's striking out, Mickey Moniak's hitting bombs. Take it, it's in Colorado, but they're bombs nonetheless. But yeah, this series was absolutely mid because we freaking split the series. It wasn't bad. Well, actually, it's always bad, but it definitely wasn't too good. There's scoring with runners in scoring position. Who would have thought? Overall, just a very middling series. I mean, it's classic Angels bullpen. You got classic umpiring. You got, I guess, Renevo Parrish, but it wasn't looking too bad. It wasn't looking too bad. You had two good games, you had two bad games. And by good, I mean as good as the Angels can be. So we can hopefully only go. Did I say split the series? I mean, we lost the series. Why would we ever split a 4-game series? I must be thinking of another series. I am not. And how could I forget that Mike Fishman died during this series? Well, it was just a little thing that happened. So the Blue Jays series kind of shows probably what's the biggest thing that's wrong with this team. And while it was a series win, I'm actually looking at my notes. This was a series win, and by notes I mean the schedule. We have one major problem on this team, at least at this time, and still kind of now. All we do is swing for the fences. It's all we freaking try to do, at least during June. Early June and end of May, or May, April, whatever. I don't know, I'm recording this in the future. All we do is just aim for the fence. We need to stop this. The bullpen is doing okay. It's doing alright. But there's been a lot of mistakes and a lot of runs that can always be scored that don't get scored because what do we want to do? We want to get that home run title. That's what we want to do. I mean, like I said, we could be getting more wins. Instead of playing small ball, we're swinging for the fences. And, like I said, a bullpen, Angels baseball. You love to see it. Oh, the Oreos. So nice. Yeah, so it turns out in this series, Ben Joyce was actually booted because he got hurt and he went surgery and he's out for the season. But it's okay because we got Ryan Johnson, who is in high A. Okay, but it's okay because we have offense. I'm just kidding. We don't have offense or defense. We barely have any defense. Oh my god, this series in particular, lots and lots of bad defense. And I know because I was at the Mother's Day game with my wife, and I'm surprised she didn't leave me then and there because of how atrocious the defense was for this team. Literally, only the good part of that Mother's Day game was the first inning, and that, I was celebrating Mother's Day with my wife. That's pretty much about it. Other than that, the only good part is that Ryan Johnson is in high A, trying to be a starter, learning how to be a starter. So that's pretty cool. What am I talking about? It was a god awful series, guy. Everything is the same. We keep swinging for fences. We keep popping up. It's absolutely awful. Oh yes, the San Diego Padres, nobody's favorite team. I'm sorry, Briar. Yeah, I mean, hey, Taylor Ward, go-ahead grand slam. It ain't called Slam Diego for nothing. That was the only good thing about this series, because we kind of sucked the rest of it, and we kind of just blew up. That's pretty much it. This is when the news about Ben Joyce going out was confirmed, and this is when he was really just blown up. So, yeah. Again, more problems with the defense. Every single imaginable flaw was kind of exposed here. And, yeah, we lost the series. Could have been worse. Last year, pretty sure it was last year, I think it was 23, we got swept. Then we swept them, and now we lost the series. So this means next year we might win the series. Oh, I'm so glad that they had an entire weekend off, and we went straight to Sacramento, to face the Athletics. Okay, fine. I'll talk about the deferrals. Alright, I know. We got our absolute cheeks clapped. Shohei Ohtani came in. Oh my goodness! Shohei! Wait, what? Wait. The Angels? The Los Anaheim Angels? They what? How many runs? They what? In how many games? Do you mean to tell me the Los Anaheim Angels of Southern California, the OC region of America, swept the Doyers? Now I know, the Angels have historically, they've had they got their number. They can always beat them during the regular season. And it's come close. This series, they swept them, all right? I'm not going to be one of those, we're the Los Anaheim Angels, and we win and we swept them. I'm not going to be that guy, because I know that on any other day, this team could absolutely annihilate us, all right? If we were to meet in the World Series, we'd probably get beat in 7 games. That'd be pretty cool to imagine. But, I'm not going to brag about it, although it does feel super nice. But, I know. This team's going to come down to earth the next series. We're going to go. The A's have our number. We're going to get our cheeks clapped in Sacramento, where it's like a gajillion degrees and there's no fans in Sacramento. It's going to be absolutely awful next series. I already know it. But, yeah, I'm not going to lie. We should have lost this series. We could have won one game, which was probably the Friday game, 6-2. But we should have lost the other games, if I'm being 100% honest. Thank God for Kenley Jansen.
Well, hello.
You mean to tell me the Los Anaheim Angels beat the A's series? And not just beat, swept. They swept. You know what that means? That means that's 7 games in a row, boys. 7 games in a row against the A's, a team that historically, I don't know about historically, I'm not going to look through numbers right now, but they've always beat us in the two. I hate them. Not like the Mariners, but I hate them too. But, it's nice to win. Maybe it's because it's not in Oakland. I'm pretty sure if this was in Oakland, we would have probably blown up against them. But, hey, we did it. Can you believe that everyone might have gotten a hit in this game except for freaking, oh no, wait. That was someone else. I'm looking at my notes right now because I kind of just had a brain fart. And it looks like one of the only main things in Oakland / Sacramento / Las Vegas is that these umpires are garbage. Now, I'm going to be going into the monthly things. Don't worry. I know you want to hear my thoughts on the monthly part of the season. But, yeah, apparently it's overall just god-awful umpiring, and I believe it. But, again, we'll get to that in the summary. Yes, the Miami Fish guys. I mean, we lost the series, of course, why wouldn't we do good against bad teams? Sure, we won the first game, but like I said, we freaking lost the series. The only bright side about this is that I got free tickets to Sunday's game. Not to the Angels game. I got free tickets to their minor league in San Bernardino. And, well, I got a pretty neat tan. Not really neat, but, it was nice and warm. My tickets were free. They were right up front. So that's probably the only good part about this series. So yeah. Gotse Soriano has actually been doing pretty decent. And by decent, I mean he sucks in the first 2 innings, and then he absolutely locks the F in. So that's pretty cool.
Yankees lose.
I don't want to talk about the Yankees, and that's because they're freaking obnoxious and they're cocky. Even though majority of the fans in Southern California all have names on their jerseys. And everyone knows that true Yankee fans do not have names on their jerseys, but these people do. But yeah, there's really nothing to talk about in this series. We kind of just got blown up. I think Lugo got sent. Oh no, Paris got sent down, and then Lugo shortly after. But that's for the next series. And then yeah, I mean they pitched their hearts out. These were kind of close games, at least the last two. And then yeah. Where's the runners in scoring position, guys? Where? They have them there, but no one decides to play small ball and try to at least get a base hit, dude. The Yankees have injuries. At least I think it's the Yankees. Probably them and the Dodgers. I'm confusing them. But they have injuries, but no one's taking advantage of them. Everyone's just dropping them balls and leaving. It's all ball. It's no pee-pee. It couldn't have been any more prevalent in this game. Prevalent? Look at this guy. All right, on to the Oh, my God, the Cleveland guys. Oh, the Cleveland guys. Remember what I said? That I forgot that Mike Fishman was hurt. Well, he sat in the hyperbolic time chamber this entire time and absolutely started popping the F off, dude. I'm telling you, Mike Fishman came and started getting hits. Now, we lost a series, but the return of Mike Fishman begs the question. How is this roster going to look in the near future? And I forgot to mention one thing during the Yankees. Tim Anderson is finally off of this team. Now, I don't hate Tim Anderson, but he wasn't really doing anything. He was essentially just Jorge Soler, but worse. And by that, I mean he was kind of like Aaron Hicks last year. He kind of just existed. And by Aaron Hicks, I mean Miguel Sano. Because Miguel Sano literally just existed on the team and just struck out or hit like a home run or something. And that was barely so. Yeah, the Cleveland guys are still absolutely garbage. Joe Adell has actually been slowly existing. And, of course, you got the Angels bullpen. But with that, let's just get to the monthly review, the monthly topics. All right, what's been going on overall? What's going on here? So the first thing, I want to talk about my absolute prince, Taylor Ward, because Taylor Ward's stats just jumped off a cliff right towards the end of May. He was doing okay, kind of went up against the series in Tampa last month. However, since then, he has devolved into absolute god-awfulness. But for some reason, the April downpours brought Taylor Ward May flowers. Because Taylor Ward this month was absolutely... I put in the beginning of the month notes, someone roided up Taylor Ward. And do you know what happened? Taylor Ward went on an absolute tear. He was the AL Player of the Week, and after that, he fell off again, which is kind of hilarious. But he still did all right, He still did all right. Everyone else, however, is incredibly questionable. And by that, I mean the 5 through 9 bats. Tim Anderson, you got freaking O'Hoppy's been hit and miss. Actually, let's just talk about O'Hoppy for a second, all right? What happened to O'Hoppe being an absolute unit in the back, and I can't wait for it. They're like, well, actually, Fredo O'Hoppe was never that great in the back anyways. That's why he never started in Philly. And he didn't start in Philly because Philly already had a pretty good catcher. I'm talking about, I swear O'Hoppe used to be able to stop balls. He used to frame a little bit better. This year, all that's kind of taken a nosedive because so many games have had wild pitches that don't get caught because O'Hoppe's, I don't know what's going on back there. But, yeah, O'Hoppe's defense is taking a turn for the worse. I'm really hoping he can turn it around because his bat is, it wasn't the best bat during the month, but it could have been better. He was really, like, average, below average bats. I don't know. I really don't know. There's a lot of questions about the coaching, if people are even listening, if people are even taking advice, because there's been a lot of things coming up and coming around saying, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're talking about this, we're not using our phones for that, we're learning off of each other. But is it really working with how inconsistent this offense has been? Take it, it's the Angels. Offense has never been consistent. It's been consistently bad, but it hasn't been consistent to a point where you're like, oh yeah, they're a 500 team, because we've always been below 500. And every time we are 500 or above, we end up blowing it later. Like the 8-game win streak. We finally hit 500, and then we tanked. We haven't won a freaking series, I think, since that happened. Let's look back. Nope, no Cerritos. We got that, and then we lost a series against the Marlins, got swept against the Yankees, and lost against the Cleveland guys. You can't hope to get 500, let alone make the damn playoffs doing that. We were winning series in the beginning of the year. We need to go back to whatever that mentality was. All right, and speaking of winning series and stuff, speaking of the players actually being useful, I need to address one thing about this franchise. One thing about this fan base. All right. You heard me talking about Kyron Parrish going down, Matthew Lugo going up and down. He's actually up now currently, but that's a huge retrospective. I am sick and tired, all right, of this fan base me riding that fence, okay? The amount of death threats I have seen going to Joe Adell, Kikuchi, freaking O'Hoppe. Sure, majority of what you're gonna see is nothing but love and admiration for, O'Hoppe, Shanwell a little less. I'll get to him, but O'Hoppe, Neto, ShamWow, obviously Mike Trout. Soler is definitely one of those players that you could definitely be on the fence about. Tim Anderson is definitely a name that people did not like. Like I said, not the biggest fan of Anderson, at least on this team. He wasn't really that useful. He was cause for more errors, I think, than anyone else playing any position. And that's with Newman on third and Rengifo completely forgetting a count. I don't remember if that was this past month in April or this month, but yeah, Rengifo's done some goofing. And I wanted Rengifo more than I want Tim Anderson, because Rengifo has shown promise in the past. Sure, Tim Anderson's like an absolute unit. At least he was. But Rengifo is just overall more consistent. At least that's what I believe. But, dude, this meat fence riding of I hate this. Oh, well, we need to get rid of Kyron Parrish. We need to trade. We need to cut. We need a DFA. We need to trade again. We need to. But there's a difference between I don't like this guy, let's trade him, and I don't like this guy, let's cut him. Because when you trade him, you can at least trade him to an organization that needs him. You can get prospects from that, and you can still hope that he succeeds in that organization. Look at Griffin Canning. Griffin Canning had, I don't know how he's doing now, but Griffin Canning was raking in the Mets. He was absolutely pitching his heart out, doing absolute unit stuff. Again, I don't know how he's doing now, but last I remember, he was doing great. But look, man, just don't go out there riding the fence. If I see you on Twitter every other game where they win and they lose, and you're rooting for that player, rooting against that player the next day, I'm sorry, but you're a fair weather friend, and I don't particularly take kindly to that. It's not like you're going to be a bandwagon of the Angels, because who in their right mind is bandwagoning the Angels? I get players, That's also annoying. That's a rant for another day and another video, but come on. I don't know. I feel like that was like the biggest thing. Just like, you know, the current record is 26-32 as of recording the video. It's actually not. We're actually up both games like right now, so you know it was technically like 27-33. But you know, at the end of May, we're 26-32. I swear to God, if I'm not wrong, I'm getting that. But there, you know, there's a little guy. I really don't know. I started getting mad about the whole I hate this guy, get rid of him. I actually like this guy now because he's actually hitting good. Because that was Joe Adell the last part of this month into June. He's starting to pop off. Does that mean I'm gonna root for him? Of course I'm gonna root for him. He's on my team. He's my player. He's a bad guy. Of course I'm gonna root for him. Does that mean I'm still not a fan of him? Kinda. You know, we could have kept Moniak. And look how well Moniak is doing. Sure, Moniak was also a 50-50 player, but he could still kind of get on base at times. Joe Adell had at one point the 182 OPS or OBS, whatever, whichever stat it is, the batting average, whatever that number is, the number 180 something. And I saw people meat riding him when he hit a home run. I absolutely okay. I'm gonna stop before I get really mad, so I'm gonna end with this. Somebody, for the love of God, yell at these umpires or I will find them. I have the skills required. Good Lord Almighty. This has been a very up and down month. It had a really great high, but Jesus, we never really to see depths. Ooh, into some depths that I hope we're not going to see in June. Who knows? June's kind of one of the months of all time for the Angels, so. Oh boy, that. Who knows when this will get, but probably during the middle of June because of course it will. And yeah, see you next time on another one of these Angels Lovely Reviews. Oh boy.